Hey there, I'm Hannah Rupp and you're not. Now, I have read every single question that you guys have ever asked me about thrifting or shopping or just how I buy things. So I am finally ready to answer your questions. This is going to be a two-part video. This one is going to be the who, what, where, why, when of how I go thrifting and how I go shopping. And the second video is for how I choose to clean things out, what do I do with things I don't like, how do I deal with the regret and guilt of buying something I don't like. That about sums it up, so let's just jump right in. How often do I go thrifting? You'd probably be surprised to know that I only thrift about 20 minutes each week. What? Yeah, really. I just go to my local thrift store once a week. It doesn't really change stock that often, so I can get in, get out in under 20 minutes. Most of my thrifting happens at the end of the month. There's a nearby Goodwill that does a $1.23 day, and I just live for that. So I usually start there in the morning and just hit all the other thrift stores in the area and just make a day of it. Do I go with a plan and do I have a budget? Yes, I totally have a plan. I didn't always have a plan, but just like the older I've gotten, the more I've gotten to know myself and my style, and so it's just a lot easier to go into a thrift store and I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm a very visual person, so I actually have a lot of like visual wish lists everywhere. The first one is on Pinterest. I just pin anything I'm like, oh yeah, I want to thrift that. Then I have like scraps of paper I keep in my purse that have like movie titles or book titles. It's very high-tech YouTube confidential stuff, you know. And then when it comes to clothes, I have notebooks full of so many awesome outfits. I am a full-blown magazine junkie, so when I see something I like, I glue it down. And besides just making collages, I also take notes of like what celebrities are showing up the most. Like there's a lot of Rihanna. I mean, who would think? Me and Rihanna. Here, this is my list, and so then I'll look them up later and see what else they wear. Do I have a budget? I don't formally have a budget, but I kind of have a running tally in my head of how much I'll pay for things. Like I don't normally pay more than $5 for anything unless it's like my dream item from my wish list, or if I have a gift card, because gift cards are like free money. How do I decide to buy something? Good question. I use a plan. I think of what's missing from my life and then I try to find it. I also have this weird thing where if I've seen an item like more than 3 times, like on a blog, in a magazine, on a person, I'm like, I need to thrift that for myself. When it really comes down to I'm at the store and I'm trying to decide what to buy, if I pick something up, I'm going to use my slippers, I'll be like, okay, I really like these, but do I need them? I'm not sure. So I will put them back. And if at the end of the trip I still can't stop thinking about these slippers because how cute and used are they, then I'll go back for them. Really, I just ask myself a lot of questions. As you probably figured out from my last video, I like to ask myself a lot of questions. The number one question I would ask myself is, do I really need this? And it's usually like a mixed reaction. The other question, and it's like my favorite question to ask, is, am I just buying this because it's in front of me? Now, this is not to be confused with the rule, buy something unusual when you see it, because that's a really good rule to follow and I wish I would follow it more often. I live with a lot of thrifting regret. Okay, I will give you an example. So I'm at the thrift store and I like to thrift really cool 80s stuff. So let's say I see this Care Bear at the thrift store. I'm like, hey, I collect Care Bears. So I will ask myself, do I really need this? Am I just buying it because it's in front of me? So a response to that might be, I already have this one at home, clearly. So I would say no. Now, where I usually use this question is when it comes to clothes. I guess it would be because clothes are something you use every day, so if you don't get the right one, you kind of notice. So with clothes, a lot of times I just buy something that's good enough that is almost like the item on my wish list, and then, you know, I get home and I don't love it as much as I think I'm gonna love the thing from my wish list. That sounds really confusing, but hopefully you understand. So don't just buy something because it's good enough and it's in front of you. Wait and buy your like dream item. I think I'm getting better at this because I seem to have a lot less crappy stuff in my life. Oh, don't worry, you're not crappy. Okay, that covers everything that goes through my head when I'm shopping. If I think of anything else, I will add it to my blog post that has this video. So if you're watching this on my blog, you're gonna read it. If you're on my YouTube channel, go to my blog. Really, just, you should always end up at my blog. Up next, I'm going to show and tell how I declutter things from my life using a basket of scarves. You're not gonna wanna miss it.